Hello, I'm Paul Vlitos. I'm a novelist. I'm a reader in creative writing at the University of Surrey. And it's a great privilege for me to be introducing this novel to you and to say a few words just to introduce it to those of you who haven't read it. And it's a great privilege because it's a great novel. It's a really fantastic read. It's also a hugely ambitious novel, and it's a novel that pulls off its ambitions with a great deal of energy and verve. It's an unusual novel. In some ways, it's a historical novel, but it's very much a kind of postmodern take on that form. We're kind of our central character, Cosmas Eleftherakis, is, as we soon realise, a version of Nikos Kazantzakis. And this is a novel which pulls off the ambitious feat of portraying a writer of genius and a man who our author clearly admires greatly. But it gives us some sense, I think, this novel of how a genius might work, some sense even of how it might feel to be a great a writer. So it's a novel that kind of takes us inside the workings of a genius's mind, but also it's not just a novel about one genius, but about two, because it's also about the kind of the friendship, the rivalry between the fictional Kazantzakis and Albert Camus. And some of the most sort of memorable scenes from the novel are scenes in Paris where the two writers meet and they discuss their theories of writing, as well as exchanging gossip about the literary world and complaints about their publishers, as writers do. And I think this is, I think one of the things that's great about the novel is the way that its, exploration of big themes is also grounded in a real sense of everyday life, of what it might feel like to be in that cafe, of the workings of the publishing industry, and also the workings behind the scenes of how a Nobel Prize might be awarded. It's a kind of timely novel, with the Nobel Prize being awarded this week, that this is a novel set at a time where both Kazantzakis and Camus are under consideration for the Nobel Prize in literature. And it has their reflections on that. It reflects on how the world rewards literary greatness, how it evaluates it, how the effects that has on writers, and the kind of the sort of it sort of really reflects on the relationship between value and ideas and culture, and those kind of prizes and the politicking that goes into them. So I think it's a great novel in that way. I think it's also a novel which depicts very beautifully the relationship between a writer and his wife, and how that that relationship. I think one of the things that's kind of magical about the novel is the sense that it gives us of a couple who have been together for a long time and have grown together and who know each other, and the ways in which their lives and their kind of feelings have kind of intertwined. So it's a beautiful character study, and I think it's also a novel which is rich in terms of its dialogue. It's a kind of dramatic, dynamic novel in terms of how its themes come to life. I think one of the things that's also extraordinary, having read this novel several times, is the way in which the various locations in it are brought to life. And it's a novel that takes us from Shanghai to Beijing to Paris. Of course, there's wonderful evocations of Greek landscapes as well. So it's a novel that's really kind of you constantly wonder while you were writing this. Well, has Demetrius, has he been to Shanghai? He can't, how does he know this about kind of Parisian cafes of the mid 20th century? So the richness of place and of time comes through as well. So I think those are just a few of the pleasures of the book. I think it's a remarkable book. I'm delighted to see it out in print. I wish I could be there to help him celebrate this event in person. I think it's a novel which will last. I think it's a novel that is, I think Kazuo Ishiguro, talks about not just novels that make an immediate first impression, but novels that linger. And this is certainly a novel that will stay with you, that will you will find yourself thinking about for a long time after you've read it. And it's really a wonderful piece of work. And I think it's also a fantastic claim for what fiction can do, for what the novel can do in terms of how it can explore a theme, how it can explore a character, and what it has to offer, and really taking us inside, giving us a real sense, we think, of taking us inside, not just a character's head, but I think, a historical personage's head as well. Anyway, I won't say any more. It's a fantastic read. I don't want to spoil it for you. I have a wonderful launch event, and I wish I could be there to launch it with you, Demetrius.